Hello and welcome to the News on Map India series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be covering topics which are important from General Studies Paper 1, that is Geography Map section. So first of all, let us begin with the previous session question, and the question was, consider the following statements about Vizhinjam International Seaport project. So there are two statements given. First, India's first deep water transshipment port situated in Tamil Nadu, and second is it is positioned to compete with global transshipment hubs like Colombo, Singapore and Dubai, reducing the cost of container movement to and from foreign destinations. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So first of all, let us talk about the Vizhinjam port. So if we talk about the Vizhinjam port, so it is situated in the state of Kerala, not Tamil Nadu. And if we will look at the map, so this is the zoomed in map of the location of Kerala. So this is the location of the Vizhinjam port, and it is situated on the coastline, and that is, it is India's first deep water transshipment port. Deep water means that the depth is around 18 to 20 meters, and the big ships or the big container ships can come to the coastline and can load off or can unload the containers, which in India as of now it is not possible. And as of now, the big ships or the mother ships or the big container ships which needs a depth of around 25 to 30 meters, they go to the other big transshipment hubs as of now, and then they unload the material there, and from those ports the containers come to the India, or from those ports the cargoes come to India. But now India also has its first and the only deep water transshipment port. Transshipment port means that the port which will work as a intermediary for the big ships to come and unload its material, and from that particular port the material can go on to other locations or its destination locations. So it is India's first deep water transshipment port designed for container and multi-purpose cargo. The port is developed under the public-private partnership, and it is positioned just 10 nautical miles from major international shipping routes, like for example which connects Europe, Persian Gulf and the Far East. So this also enhances accessibility for large vessels. It is equipped with an AI-driven control room and country's first indigenous vessel traffic management system. See, so India's first deep water transshipment port situated in Tamil Nadu. This is incorrect because it is not situated in Tamil Nadu, it is situated in Kerala. Second, it is positioned to compete with global transshipment hubs like Colombo, Singapore and Dubai. Correct, reducing the cost of container movement to and from foreign destination. So the second statement is correct, first statement is wrong. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? So second is correct, first is wrong. So the correct answer becomes option B, that is 2 only. Now moving on to today's session. First question is, consider the following statements about rare earth elements. There are two statements. First, India has the third largest reserves of rare earth elements, estimated at 6.9 million metric tons, largely in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha and Kerala. Second is, the monazite sands in Odisha are particularly rich in rare earth elements. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. So let us look at it. So first of all, let us look at the monazite sand. So the India's map, in which you are seeing the state which is colored with purple color, so there is a presence of monazite sand. So it is Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, then there is Assam and then there is Meghalaya. So these states, they have the presence of monazite sand. Now coming on to the rare earth metal. So there are basically 17 rare earth elements, and these are cerium, prosium, erbium, europium. So in total there are 17 rare earth elements and 15 belongs to the lanthanoid series. And apart from these 15 lanthanoids, on the periodic table there is scandium and tritium. So these are the two different, apart from the 15 lanthanoids which are present on the periodic table. So there is tritium and scandium. So these are the rare earth elements and they are present in the earth's crust in abundance, and they basically have a unique magnetic, luminescent and electrochemical properties and are used very much in the modern day technologies like electronics, computers and networks, communication, healthcare, national defense, clean energy technologies. So if we will go back to the question, then India has the third largest reserve of rare earth elements. This is correct and this is a factual statement. Estimated at 6.9 million metric tons. This is also correct, largely in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha and Kerala. So this statement is correct and this is a factual statement. So you need to actually remember it. Second is the monazite sands in Odisha are particularly rich in rare earth elements. So this we just saw on the map. So second is correct and first is also correct. So how many are correct statement? Both are correct. It means the correct answer is option C, that is both 1 and 2. Next question. Regarding tunnel number 8, consider the following statements. So there are two statements given. First, it is one of India's longest transportation tunnels located in Himachal Pradesh. And second is, at present, India's longest rail tunnel is the 12.77 kilometer T50, which lies on the Katra Banihal section of the Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla rail link, also known as the Kashmir line. Which of the above mentioned statements is or are correct? Only one, only two, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So let us talk about the tunnel 8. So if we will talk about the tunnel 8, then Rishikesh Karnaprayag rail project, India's longest transport tunnel, takes shape. So this is the longest transport tunnel which is taking shape, and that is Rishikesh to Karnaprayag. Now if we will talk about the project, then it will connect Rishikesh to Karnaprayag and the estimated cost is around rupees 16,200 crores, and the rail project will have the country's longest tunnel of around 15.1 kilometers, and this will be between Devprayag and Lachmoli. Then the rail link will cut down the travel time between Rishikesh and Karnaprayag from 7 hours to 2 hours. So between now people, if they want to travel from Rishikesh to Karnaprayag, they take 7 hours, but now they can do it in 2 hours. Then the project has been delayed by around 6 years. So this is about the project. And now coming back to the question. So first and foremost, it is one of India's longest transportation tunnels which is located in Himachal Pradesh. No, it is not located in Himachal Pradesh. It is located in Uttarakhand. Second is, at present, India's longest rail tunnel is the 12.77 kilometer T50, which lies on the Katra Banihal section of the Udhampur Srinagar Baramulla rail link, also known as the Kashmir line. Now this is an absolute fact and this is correct. This is an absolute fact and this is correct in nature. So you need to remember the fact as it is. So first is wrong, second is correct. So which one becomes correct? So that is only 2. So the correct answer becomes option B. Now next question. Regarding Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, which of the following statements is or are not correct? So it is asking about the incorrect statement. So there are 4 statements given. Which one is incorrect statement? First, recently government announced that it will resume the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra from June this year. Second, Lake Mansarovar, known locally as Mapam Yamso, is a high altitude freshwater lake near Mount Kailash in the Nari prefecture of the Tibet Autonomous Region. Third is, there are 2 primary routes, that is Lipulek Pass route and Nathula Pass route, to reach the Lake Mansarovar from India. And fourth is, Jalepla have connected Assam and Tibet since ancient time. So these are the 4 statements. So let us see which one is not correct. Which one is not correct? So if we will talk about the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, then Kailash Mansarovar Yatra was on halt for around 5 years, and now recently the government of China and India have talked about resuming the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. So Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, so there is Mansarovar Lake and Mount Kailash. So basically the people from there or the people from India can go for the pilgrimage. Now there are basically two routes as of now which are used. So first is the Lipulekh Pass, which is situated in Uttarakhand, and second is the Nathula Pass, which is situated in Sikkim. Jalepla Pass is also situated in Sikkim, and it lies to the south of Nathula Pass. So if we will go to the statement, so recently government announced that it will resume the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra from June this year. This is correct. Second, Lake Mansarovar, known locally as Mapam Yamso, is a high altitude freshwater lake near Mount Kailash in the Nagari prefecture of the Tibet Autonomous Region. This is also correct. Third is, there are two primary routes, Lipulekh Pass route, correct, Nathula Pass route to reach Lake Mansarovar from India. This is also correct. Fourth is, Jalepla have connected Assam and Tibet since ancient time. So it has not connected Assam and Tibet, it has connected Sikkim and Tibet since ancient times. So first, second and third is correct. What becomes wrong is fourth one. So it does not connect Assam and Tibet, it connects Sikkim and Tibet. Next, regarding Sambar Lake, consider the following assertions. So there are three statements given. How many of the above assertions are accurate? First is that it is the largest saline wetland in India. Second, it has been designated as a Ramsar site. Third, the site is significant for various species of wintering water birds, including a large population of flamingos. How many of the above assertions are accurate? One only, two only, all of the above, none of the above. So let us see this. So Sambar Lake, if we talk about, so Sambar Lake lies in the state of Rajasthan. So this is Rajasthan and this is the map of Sambar Lake, and it is the largest saltwater lake in India. So it is the largest saline wetland in India, located in the Nagaur and Jaipur districts of Rajasthan. Basically you need to remember the states. So that is Rajasthan, bordered by the Aravalli Hills. It is the source of most of Rajasthan's salt production. It was designated a Ramsar site in the year 1990 due to its ecological significance, and it attracts thousands of migratory birds, including flamingos, from November to February. So let us go back. It is the largest saline wetland in India. Correct. It has been designated as a Ramsar site. Correct. Third is, the site is significant for various species of wintering water birds, including a large population of flamingos. Now this is also correct. We have to talk about the correct or the accurate assertions. So all three are correct. It means the correct answer is option C, that is all of the above. Next question. Consider the following pairs. So there are four pairs given. First is Puga Valley, Ladakh. Second is Manikaran, Himachal Pradesh. Third is Tapovan, Uttarakhand, and fourth is Dirang, Arunachal Pradesh. How many of the above pairs are correctly matched? Only one and two, only 1, 2 and 3, or all of the above? So let us look at it. So first and foremost, if we talk about the Puga Valley, so Puga Valley is situated in the UT Ladakh, that is Union Territory of Ladakh. Then if we talk about the Manikaran Valley is situated in Himachal Pradesh, in the Kullu district of Himachal Pradesh. Then if we will talk about the Tapovan Valley is situated in Uttarakhand and it is situated in Rishikesh. Then if we talk about Dirang is situated in Arunachal Pradesh, in the Kameng district of Himachal Pradesh. Now, so all four pairs are correctly matched, that is Puga Valley, Ladakh, Manikaran, Himachal Pradesh, Tapovan, Uttarakhand, Dirang, Arunachal Pradesh. So how many of the above pairs are correctly matched? So all four. So the correct answer becomes option D, that is all of the above. Next question. Regarding Bhakra Nangal Dam, consider the following statements. So there are two statements given. First is, it is a concrete gravity dam across the Satluj River. Second is, it is located near the border between Punjab and Himachal Pradesh in northern India. Which of the above mentioned statements is or are correct? One only one, only two, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So let us see this. So if we will talk about the Bhakra Nangal Dam, so Bhakra Nangal Dam are two different dams. One is Bhakra Dam and second is the Nangal Dam. So Bhakra Nangal Dam is basically situated on the Satluj river. So it is situated on the Satluj river in the state of Himachal Pradesh, very close to the border of Punjab. And it is a concrete gravity dam. Concrete gravity dam means it is made up of concrete and it controls the flow of water through its own weight and its own foundation. And it is situated on the Satluj river. It is near the border between Punjab and Himachal Pradesh in northern India. It is India's second tallest dam of around 225.5 meter height, and the first or the tallest dam in India is the Tehri Dam with 261 meter height. Its reservoir known as the Govind Sagar reservoir. And if we talk about Nangal Dam, is another dam which is on the downstream of Bhakra Dam. And sometimes both the dam when combined together are known by the name of Bhakra Nangal Dam. Otherwise, they are two separate dams. So it is a concrete gravity dam across Satluj river. So that is correct. Then it is located near the border between Punjab and Himachal Pradesh in northern India. That is also correct. We have to talk about the correct statement. So the correct answer is option C, that is both 1 and 2. Next question. Regarding Nilgiri Thar, consider the following statements. So there are two statements given. First, it is the state animal of Kerala, and second, it is endemic. It is endemic to the Nilgiri Hills and the southern portion of the Western Ghats in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Which of the above mentioned statements is or are correct? Only one, only two, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So if we will talk about the Nilgiri Thar, so first of all, let us look at the map or look at this picture. This picture is of the Nilgiri Thar, and Nilgiri Thar is the state animal of Tamil Nadu. Now look at this map. So this map, when we talk about, so if we talk about Nilgiri Thar, is basically found in the Western Ghats and near the area of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve or the Nilgiri National Park. So if we will talk about the area, then this is the area where the Nilgiri Thar is basically found in the Nilgiri National Park and the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. So Nilgiri Thar is known as Nilgiri Ibex, and it has been listed as endangered by the IUCN, and it has been listed under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, which provides absolute protection and offences under these and prescribed the highest penalties. Then the adult males of Nilgiri Thar species, they develop a light grey area or saddle on their back. Then it is the state animal of Tamil Nadu. It is endemic to the Nilgiri Hills and the southern portion of the Western Ghats in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So it is basically found in that area only. So if we will look at the statement, so it is the state animal of Kerala? No. It is the state animal of Tamil Nadu. It is endemic to the Nilgiri Hills? Yes. And the southern portion of the Western Ghats in Tamil Nadu and Kerala? Yes, because it is the area of the Nilgiri National Park. Which of the above mentioned statements is or are correct? First is wrong, second is correct. It means the correct answer is option B, that is only 2. Now next question, and it is the practice question, and like always, you people need to tell me the answer in the comments below. So the question is, Karegutta Hills. Karegutta Hills is located along the boundaries between which of the following two states? Karegutta Hills. So that is Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Chhattisgarh and Telangana, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. So like I always say, you need to go see the map or pick up the atlas and see the map or the area of the Karegutta Hills and then give me the answer in the comments below. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.